This is my video to demonstrate how I was able to create this ellipse jig. After digging around on the internet, I was able to find enough ideas to make this happen here. And what this is, it's just a quarter piece of masonite with some maple glued to it and pinned on it. Some pin nails there. So then I just took the table saw, ripped 10-degree bevel on each side of these, on this side as well. So now what you have is a grid for your major and minor axes for your ellipse. Then what you have is this arm here. This is just a block. This is just a piece of 3/4 inch maple with holes drilled every inch. Mounted, I have 1/4 inch spacing over here. So what that gives you is, I can move it forward or back 1/4 inch at a time. So that's actually 1/4 inch per radius. So the diameter would actually be in 1/2 inch increments, according to doing it this way, so I can get within 1/2 inch. So one thing I saw on the internet was to have this slotted so you can get it exactly, the dimension that you want. So that just goes to this router base here. That's just a piece of 1/4 inch masonite mounted to the bottom of my router here, and glued to a block here, which the arm is screwed into. Okay, so what you're gonna have to do now is be able to stick it down. And double stick tape seemed like it didn't work too well on this MDF, so I actually just put in these screw holes and I screwed it to the workpiece, which puts these little holes in there that I can patch up no problem. Okay, then one thing about this I found out was this is 12 inches. I made it top to bottom, left to right, 12 inches. So the radius can only be 6 inches wider on the major axis, wider than the minor axis at a time. So the total circumference of your ellipse can be 1 foot wider at maximum with this jig. So if you wanted to build a really big, like say 6 foot tall by 7 foot wide, that's the most you can get, is 1 foot wider on the major to the minor. So it won't really look really elongated, it'll look more circular. So if you want to do something big, you'd have to make this distance would have to be like, I don't know, 18 inches by 18 or something along those lines. But basically this is what the setup is. I pulled this off of the router just so I could show this here. So if I set this up 6 inches apart, like this, that'd be the maximum that I could do, because otherwise it'll fall off of the groove there. That's just set up there, and then it works pretty good. There's a little bit of play in it, but I figure as long as you just pull the router kind of towards you as you're going, it works out pretty good. Okay, so that's pretty much that. Yeah, so this is the piece that I was just trying to see what I could do here. I came up with this design. Basically, this is made up of 4 different ellipses. You see the outside one, then the inside one, and if you could tell, it's a little bit wider here on the right side than the left side. And what I did is I took this plate, you mount it right to the center. I got my crosshairs and found center of this piece, and then to get the outside radius, and then to get that inside one, I moved it over 1/2 inch, and that made that smaller and that bigger. Then to get these other lines here, I just mounted the plate here and got these two lines right there, and then I moved it over to here, mounted it here to get these two lines. And if you see, it's wider here in the center than it is here on the ends, and you have to change the setup of this each time. I think to get this outside one here, it was a longer major radius and a smaller minor radius, something like that. You have to change it around to get different shapes. And so I cut that out with this right here, and that's just like a 3/8 cutter bit on the router. And basically this is 1-inch lightweight MDF right here, and it just took about 4 passes for each line. I just plunged it in maybe a 1/4 inch each time, and that's it. That's the ellipse jig.